Hello, you lovely lot, and welcome to the Independent Spouse Podcast. I'm Jess Sands, founder of the Independent Spouse and current military wife running my own business, Design Jessica, from our Marrie Quarter. Each week, I'll be bringing you inspiring interviews that go behind the scenes of an amazing business, charity, or project created by someone also living the military life. It's the stories of inspirational men and women who experience service life from the home front while building a successful business, and it aims to showcase a community who until now have been in the shadows. I hope that it gives a voice to those who are already achieving amazing things and inspires you if you dream of doing the same. To remind you that you can do it too, that it's achievable to run a business whilst living this Magnolia War life, and that you can still achieve your own goals while supporting your service partner. This week, I've been talking to Jo Lomax, the inspirational founder of Huggable Heroes. Jo and her team produce personalised Huggable Heroes for those suffering from anxiety or separation. Inspired by her own experience as a wife of a Marine, Jo started the company in 2015 and now helps all sorts of families with her Huggable Heroes. They're for children who are in hospital, for children with separated parents, for those struggling with dementia, and of course for our own armed forces community, because everyone going through deployment does need a hug. This first episode of Series 2 is incredibly emotional, and I cannot thank Jo enough for being so open and genuine when she shared her story with me. Hello, Jo. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Jess. Thank you for having me.
Oh, not a problem. Firstly, Huggable Heroes is such a fantastic idea. I love it. I've been researching you this week in preparation for this podcast. I don't have children, so I haven't really seen you very much. But now that I've found you, I think it's just such a wonderful thing that you're doing. So for those people who might not have heard of Huggable Heroes, please could you tell us a little bit about your business?
Okay, so Huggable Heroes help families that are experiencing separation for whatever reason. We basically use a photograph of that person's loved one and we make it into a cuddly toy, which they can cuddle, and they can take it along to special events or just general adventures while that person can't be with them. And it's just the most rewarding job in the world, and I'm very proud of it. We have won national awards, which is very exciting. We've had a lot of media coverage because it's just so adorable seeing children cuddling sort of special people that they love, basically.
And it's to help with separation and anxiety. So obviously I came across you because I'm in the armed forces community and lots of my friends have children that have partners that are away. So is that where the idea sort of sprung from when you first started?
Yes, that's right. So I'm a military wife, and from a conversation with my friends, we were talking about daddy being away, basically, and how much the children really struggle. From that conversation, we sort of laughed and we said that we could do a cuddly daddies. And she said, will you make me one? So I made her one, and she sent me a photo, which to this day is probably the most emotional photo that has stuck with me, because I guess it was the first one. But her little girl was cuddling this daddy with her eyes closed, and he was about to deploy to Afghan. And just the emotion in that photo was incredible. And this little girl was 4 years old. And from that, I said to my husband, right, we need to make you one and make one of you, which did take quite a lot of bribery. And at the time, he was working away Monday to Friday. But when he came home, my little girl was 2.5, and she literally didn't want to know him. So he'd walk through the door on a Friday and she'd cling to me for hours on end. It was really heartbreaking to watch because I could see he was gutted every weekend. So finally, he gave in and let me take a photo of him, and I made a Huggable Hero of him. And that first week of him being away with the Huggable Hero in our lives, we took it to swimming lessons, we took it to gymnastics, it went on picnics with us. It was just part of our life, and we called it Daddy Cuddles. And when she was upset, I was like, right, go and find Daddy. When he walked through the door on that Friday, instead of clinging to Mummy, she actually ran across the room, picked up a Huggable Hero and took it to him. because he was part of our lives again during the week, it wasn't such a shock at the weekends, and it completely transformed their relationship in just 5 days. So that's how it began. And then I had friends saying, Jo, can you make me one? And it's just grown from there, and it's all from recommendation, which is just incredible.
And it's not just for armed forces families. I was looking at your wonderful Facebook page, and I've been following you on Instagram, and I spotted one of the reviews that you have posted on your Facebook page, and it reads, "Our Huggable Hero was a gift. My friend ordered him for my 5-year-old son after my husband died just a few weeks after being diagnosed with cancer. My boy absolutely loved his cuddly daddy, and every night since he arrived falls asleep cuddling him. He has been a huge comfort to a very confused little boy. The team did an amazing job as we struggled to find a suitable photo, and I can't recommend them enough." Which really makes me very emotional now. Don't you cry? So obviously, what you're doing is so much. I mean, it initially started for an armed forces family, but it has grown. So is this what kind of motivates you to do it?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I am actually crying. Yeah, it really is. When I say we, my mum helps me massively, and I wouldn't be able to do it without her. But we have these messages just asking if we can make Huggable Heroes for them for whatever reason. So we're having a lot where people have passed away or are very ill, and they're just sort of planning for the future, really. And they're just absolutely heartbreaking, and you just can't imagine what they're going through at that time. So to be able to make a sorry, that's right. I kind of read these reviews, and I do spend a lot of time in tears, but it's normally just me. And I look at Mum and I'm just like, oh, it's fine, and I just think of something else. So to be able to make a Huggable Hero, which is just such a simple concept of using one of their favourite photos of their loved one and make it into something cuddly, so that when they need a really big cuddle from that person, they can have a cuddle still. It just means so much to me to know that something so small is making such a big impact on their family. It's just amazing. So these reviews, they mean so much to us, and they definitely do keep us going. And obviously, people passing away is a really, really heartbreaking one. But we have people that their children are just struggling to settle into school, and we make Huggable Heroes of them. That's amazing, because then they can pop them in their rucksacks and take them to school. And the schools have been incredible, and they're actually embracing the Huggable Heroes and letting the children take them in. We hear stories of like teaching assistants actually using them as tools with the children, because sometimes children are unable to express how they feel. Maybe they'll start being naughty or just generally upset, and they don't actually know why that is. But by having the Huggable Hero, if it's somebody that they're really missing, they actually interact with that Huggable Hero differently depending on how they feel. So you will find that if they're really sad that person's not with them, they'll be giving them cuddles and just clinging to it, and possibly crying whilst cuddling it. If they're angry that person's no longer with them or not with them for however long, if it's due to work, they will actually throw it and not want anything to do with it, because they're just really angry that they're not here. If they're missing that person, but they're kind of okay, they will just play with it. You'll see them playing tea parties or rough and tumble, just generally including that person in their normal play. But if it's nothing to do with their emotion, is nothing to do with missing that person, you might find that they're not playing with the Huggable Hero, and it's, they're happily tucked it away somewhere because they just feel that they don't need it anymore or at that time. So with me as a parent, I found that with my children, but it meant that I knew which avenue to go down with them. And the teaching assistants are actually feeding that information back to us as well, which is amazing. So quite quickly, they can go down a certain avenue with them to sort of stop them from being so angry or upset. So that's incredible. So the schools are definitely taking that on board. But we help children with autism. We help people, families where somebody's got dementia. We help hospital stays. So it's quite heartbreaking, actually. We make quite a lot of Huggable Heroes of siblings. So you'll find that one child is in hospital, but they're not allowed to see their sibling due to cross-contamination if they're really poorly. So we'll make them with each other, which is amazing. Yeah, they are for absolutely anybody that is missing somebody. So it could just be separated parents. It could be family living across the other side of the world or the other side of the country, just someone you don't see as often as you'd like to. A Huggable Hero will help.
Oh, it sounds so brilliant. I think I might need one on my husband's way. Can we do a big life-size one for me? So you mentioned a little bit about your team because you must be so busy. Am I right in thinking that you handmake all the Huggable Heroes?
Yeah, they're all handmade with a huge amount of love in my mum's kitchen.
Oh, brilliant. Because I find it really difficult living my military life with my husband deployed and running my business, but I don't have a product to make. So you've clearly got a good team around you. Could you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, of course. So obviously I said that my mum helps me and she does help me massively. And my nan also helps, and I also have my auntie Sue. So the making process is made between the four of us, but I must admit I do less of the making now just because we have so many messages and so many emails. So I tend to leave the making to them unless we're super busy, and then I'll get stuck in too. But as I said, it's all made around my mum's kitchen table. So I'm always there at the table, but I'm normally on the admin side now. And everyone has their set job that they're really good at, and it just works perfectly because when someone finishes a job, they then move on to like the next part of the conveyor belt. So that's amazing. I also have a lady called Debs, who's my graphics lady, and she cuts away all of the backgrounds and pops them on our template, which we have to have because they're all suitable. They're all toy safety tested. So we have to have set templates. So they're all popped on the template ready for us to print at mum's. And now I have a lady called Lou who's been helping with the admin side as well, just because I want to speak to more charities and like military welfare units, and I'm just not having the time to do that. So Lou's now helping a little bit with my emails and just generally sorting me out because I'm a bit chaotic. So yeah, it works really amazingly. Yeah, it's great, really great.
It is, and it sounds like you're building quite a big team. So where do you see yourself in about 5 years' time?
Oh my goodness. In 5 years' time, I just hope that we've reached as many families as possible that we're able to help. That is my main aim. And that's all I really, really want is if somebody feels that a Huggable Hero would help their family, then we've reached them. And everybody needs a Huggable Hero for some reason because everybody has got somebody that they really miss. So it's just literally reaching as many families as we possibly can. And they are for everybody.
They are. Oh, goodness, you can't make me cry going into the quickfire questions. Oh, my goodness. So, yes, as mentioned, it is now the quickfire questions. So I do this with every one of my guests to sort of do these quick answers to see what they are into, and then we can compare them with all the other guests. And we have some quite interesting answers. So are you ready? Are you prepared? Have you recovered?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Okay. So the first one is, who would you most like to hear from on the Independent Spouse podcast?
Okay, so I follow this lady on Instagram, and she just generally makes me laugh on Insta stories. She has an amazing business, and her name's Charlotte Bolton, and her business is called Stanley and Maud.
I like her. I follow her. She is ace.
She is.
Yes, I also do. I must email her to see if she wants to come and talk to me. So the next one is, what's the best present that your partner has ever bought you back from deployment?
Oh, Jess, he never has bought me a present back from deployment. He came home from America once, and I was fully expecting a present, obviously. He'd been in America. And I think at the airport on the way home, he suddenly realised he hadn't bought me anything. So when he got home, he handed me his Hooters t-shirt.
Smooth.
Why would I have a Hooters t-shirt? I was not impressed.
No, I'm not sure I would be that impressed. You'll have to sort him out, I think. Have a word. Yeah, have a word. And of course, the military community is so supportive. Who has encouraged you along the way?
The people at the beginning. So when I first started Huggable Heroes, it was kind of something that I made one now and again for friends. But the point it sort of changed was when I started going to a print shop in Woodbury in Devon, which is where I was basically living at the time in quarters. And the man was called Jamie Sanderson, and he had a print shop at the time. But he completely encouraged me. He let me use his print shop on everything. He used to get the photos and everything edited for me. And he was just like, you need some help, Jo. This is amazing. You need to do this, and I will do everything I possibly can to help you. And he really did. And he was just amazing at making me believe in myself, basically. He actually closed down the print shop and sold me all of his printers, which was even better, because it meant that when he did finish and I moved back to Norfolk, that I could continue making Huggable Heroes. And actually the process was much smoother because it was all in Mum's house. He closed the business and pursued his dream, which is a charity called Rock to Recovery, which helps service personnel and ex-service personnel that are suffering from PTSD. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing. So you need to go and check out his charity too. So yeah, thanks, Jamie.
Oh, well done, Jamie. He sounds like a brilliant chap. The next one is, if you could go back in time, back to when you first started, what would be the one thing that you would tell yourself?
Believe in yourself. Yeah, definitely believe. You can do it.
It's true. And that is one of the big stumbling blocks that I have found with my business and being a military spouse and sort of losing my way a little bit there at the beginning, is that you can, just believe in yourself and just try it. Because, the things we've spoken about today and the things that you've said, you just kind of realize that life is there to be enjoyed, and you just try stuff and get stuff done. And sometimes if it doesn't work, then that's okay. Just try again. And there's obviously a lot of military spouses that are either starting their own business or thinking about starting their own business or working in their own business. What's the best bit of advice that you could give to them?
I tell myself all the time, dream, believe, achieve. And so if there's anything that I'm just not sure about, I just keep repeating that to myself. And it really helps. So hopefully that helps for you. And sometimes I think, I'm not sure if I can do this anymore because it's so heartbreaking. And I just feel really about, the really heartbreaking things that I'm reading. And it really does, get you down at times. I repeat that to myself. And then I think, well, we've helped over 3,000 families so far. We can do that again. Just keep going. And if you have a dream, believe in that dream and you will achieve it.
Oh, it's brilliant. Definitely. I definitely agree with you on that one. So if I'm interested in following you or getting my own Huggable Hero, how can I find you?
Okay, so we have Facebook and you'll find us at Huggable Heroes. You'll also find us on Instagram at Huggable Heroes. We do have Twitter, although I'm not very savvy on Twitter, I must admit, but we are on there. We have a website, which is www.huggableheroes.co.uk.
Jo, I have loved talking to you today. I have obviously researched you an awful lot to find out about Huggable Heroes. It has been one of the most emotional podcasts that I have ever done, and the research behind it saw me sat in my office by myself crying, which is, if anybody knows me, is a bit strange. But what you're doing for all of those families is just brilliant. The product is brilliant, and the feedback that you're having is just phenomenal. So huge congratulations and well done. And thank you so much for sharing your story with me today.
Well, thank you, Jess, and thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. I really hope you've enjoyed it and it has inspired you. Please subscribe so that you can have access to each episode as soon as it's released. And if you like what you hear, I would love it if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you found me. It really helps spread the word so that more lovely people like you can listen to the episodes. Thank you so much for listening along. I'll be back soon with another inspiring episode. See you then.